Hey guys, welcome. So today we're going to be doing a stream and just spending some time learning about social media marketing, really focusing on content, and really you're just going to be hanging out with me while I study this stuff. So let's have a good time and get into it. So social media growth, let's see. These are the top results that we see on YouTube. So it looks interesting to study here. I kind of want to search 2023 and see if there's anything new and hot that's out. Maybe someone that I recognize. Always love some Gary Vee. Let's see what he's got going on in 2023.
I can't imagine being a common sense human being in September 2022 and not understanding that brand is built on social. I genuinely mean that. I mean, I don't, you'd have to be so subconsciously religious about what you were taught in college about how brands are built to be anyone that doesn't see it. So I love when people are like, Gary, TV works for me. I'm like, you spent $6 million on that campaign. I'm like, it should work. That's why most brands are losing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're wrong. You're absolutely right. I can't imagine being a common sense human being in September 2022 and not understanding that brand is built on social.
Yeah, I can agree with that totally. Even with our business, the amount we spend on content is so much less than traditional marketing channels. So I can see how the old guard would think that it's not a good investment. But of course, you can see this is where we consume all of our information: YouTube, social media. For myself, mostly YouTube, Twitter, and online different blogs and resources, Googling around. But yeah, it's a no-brainer.
I genuinely mean that. I mean, I don't, you'd have to be so subconsciously religious about what you were taught in college about how brands are built to be anyone that doesn't see it. And so my philosophy is, why would you spend money on something if you can spend less money to achieve the same goal? So I love when people.
Alex Hormozi actually talks about this too. He talks about, these are just top of my head, so the numbers could be wrong, but essentially the traffic that he's able to get from his organic work that he does. I mean, he was always doing paid ads before, and he's essentially able to get that traffic, that cost per click, at about 1/10 of what he previously got it, or something crazy like that. So just in a pure cost per click level, when you do it right and you take the time and energy to build a social and a following, it really does pay off in a real tangible way.
When people are like, Gary, TV works for me, I'm like, you spent $6 million on that campaign. I'm like, it should work. I'm like the corners now with decision makers who will spend the first 30 minutes talking about how social media completely controls their child's life. Then they'll spend the next 15 minutes talking about politics and how social media needs to be regulated because of how powerful it is as a proxy against democracy. And then we'll transition into talking about selling cereal and makeup, and they don't think social media can move the needle. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You think this platform is so powerful that we need to regulate it because it could put democracy on its knees, but you don't think it can sell cereal? Underpriced macro platform.
I've heard Gary say that before, actually. It's a great pitch. Yeah, you think social media is like harming elections, but it's not selling.
Platform to get actual consumption. It's also a place, if you understand it well, that really addresses the elephant in the room, which is the elephant in the room in marketing today is that creative's too expensive. And because it's too expensive, you can't actually get the full advantage of the media opportunities that exist. If it costs you too much to make creative, you're not gonna make 87 pieces of creative a day to distribute against 35 different consumer segmentations against 21 social platforms. You'll never do that. You can't. And so, yeah, I mean, to me in 2022, it's kind of an exhausting conversation to even like I'm struggling to get going to even be in the combo because I can't understand how people don't see it. The only thing that makes sense to me is when people are in corporations and the internal scoring system doesn't justify it. Then I understand you're trying to protect your job, and you should. You have a mortgage and a family. But if we're talking real life, like human beings, like our kids' health depends on the results, how you don't understand that this is the place that brands build, I don't know. This is Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr stock. I made a very big bet 15 years ago where I took every dollar I had in the bank and invested in 3 companies, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Obviously that changed the course of my life. But the funny story of why I'm pointing here, it's actually the answer to your question. When I invested in Tumblr, I called my brother and I said, AJ, Tumblr is gonna be bigger than Facebook and Twitter. It's gonna be the biggest one of them all. And he said, why? And I said, because Facebook and Twitter, you follow people. Tumblr, you follow things you're interested in. And so even back then, I was.
So, I mean, he said something about volume earlier, reaching all the channels, having your different segments. Like, see what they say. How many times should you be posting to social media to get good growth? Oh, whoops. Yep, I'm not sharing the right tab. That makes sense. Yeah, let's navigate away here, guys. On the same page together. Yeah, 1 post per day is the consensus of Hootsuite. Sprout Social. HubSpot generally has some pretty good stuff. Let's see what HubSpot has to say about this. These guys crush the content marketing game in general for B2B. HubSpot's blog has everything related to marketing and growth that you could really want to Google. And so they're really all over the map when it comes to content marketing. They've covered it and done it well. And a really good book actually was written by them. Let me pull this up. HubSpot growth. Sales acceleration formula. Exactly. Sales acceleration formula is a nice one to check out. It's pretty simple stuff, but just around building a content marketing plan. Four times per week, 2 to 3 times per week, every day. I think one thing you need to be careful about is I really do believe you shouldn't be posting anything that's going to take away from your brand. I mean, it's easy to find crappy websites, crappy social medias, and I really think you should always be posting value. And if you can't post value at a high clip, post it at as high of a clip as you can and work your way to getting to a higher frequency, but really make sure it's on brand, make sure it's beautiful, make sure that the message is good and powerful. I think that's really important. It's the best time to post on Twitter. It's really interesting. Personally, I see the best organic growth and reach on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok right now. It's where I see the opportunity. The short form content just definitely gets the best traction. What do these guys have to say about YouTube
My friend
Shorts?
consistently posts shorts that get many thousands of views, but more importantly, he's just discovered a new way that he's used to get the viewers of his shorts over to his long form videos pretty damn consistently. For example, when Jordan first posted this video, as you can see in the first 48 hours, it did pretty terribly. But then Jordan posted a short here, and as you can see, it gave this video a massive boost in views relative to how many it had. That video then gradually gained traction until the algorithm took note here, and the rest is history. Or there's this video, again, a similar pattern. The first day or so didn't do very well, but then Jordan posted a short here, and I mean, you can see for yourself what happened.
This is an interesting strategy, using shorts to fuel your long form.
Here today. So Jordan, before we get into exactly how you did this though, tell us your story real quick, because it's going to give people some really important context that will help them apply the knowledge that you're about to share.
Just like every kid growing up now, I've just always kind of wanted to be a content creator, be like the people you kind of watch on YouTube on a daily basis. The app that kind of got me started was YouTube, because I was like, okay, everyone's on YouTube. They're going from YouTube to Hollywood. So I'm just going to try and be a YouTuber and make videos on my phone. So the very first couple of videos I started working on were when I was in college. I started trying to make college tips and tricks videos. And then the app TikTok came out. So I was like, oh, everybody's talking about TikTok, Charlie D'Amelio, all these other people. So I made a TikTok account and I saw like the funny skits people were making. And I was like, I can make funny skits like that. So I started trying to make the skits like everybody else, but that really wasn't for me. So I started testing the waters, trying to see what could get me views. And I started making anime videos, and one of them took off. So I started continually just making videos about anime. And now I have a TikTok account. I think I've posted over 1,000 videos probably on anime and grown that account to 230,000 followers on there. So started trying to use that platform to take people over to other platforms. Such
1,000 videos on anime, like 1,000 short form videos. Quantity is so important. Like, it takes time to build this.
Just my Twitch account, my YouTube account, and all that other stuff, trying to eventually one day maybe become a full-time content creator, but if not, at least have it as a side business.
Now you're going to share your advice on how the people watching this right now will be able to replicate your results. But first, do you think that you're super special, unique, or gifted, or do you think that anyone can replicate what it is that you're about to reveal and get similar results on their own gaming channels?
I definitely think anybody can do it. I haven't always just been this person that's like, I want to be on the camera, I want to talk. Like, there were a lot of times I record the videos and I'll be like, oh geez, like, what are people going to think of like what I have on, or like my foot's in this one, what are people going to say about my feet? And now it's gotten to a point where it's just like, I've grown so much as a content creator just because I show up every single day getting in those reps to, it's like I'm willing to post anything at this point, and I just know at some point this is going to be a video that I look back on and I'm going to be like, why did you ever think this video was a good idea? I looked at probably like 30 plus videos from 3 years ago and I was like, I don't know why I thought any of these were a good idea. I'd never post this video. It's just kind of exciting to know that that's where I was 3 years ago. So where would I be at 3 years in the future if I think those videos were bad? If I look at,
it's like the authenticity is so important. Reminds me of Joe Rogan talking about long form and how you really get authentic views, and it's not this super scripted stuff. That's one of the reasons why I want to get more into this kind of just long form, casual streaming, digging into business ideas, just watching content, not taking it too seriously. I think that's a way better way to connect with your audience. It's definitely the content that I prefer, and you can see that he's realized that just put content up. Like, who cares what anyone thinks? Produce content, continue to improve it, and don't look back.
Look at these videos now.
Okay, well, let's get stuck into this. So the first part of your strategy is creating short form content that actually gets views, because without that, you have no traffic to push across to your long form videos. What are your best tips for that?
So I would definitely say it's important that you learn from every single video that you're making. When I first started, if I got a video got like 10,000 views, I'd be like, okay, why did this video get 10,000 views? Was it the sound that I used? Was it because it was trending at the time? Was it because a lot of people watched it all the way through? You need to really look at your videos when you're creating them and figure out why they're not doing good, and figure out why the ones that are doing good are working, and continually building off that. When I first started, I was like doing 100 different things, and I was trying to figure out, do I like doing this? Is this what I like? Does this video do well? And then I finally made an anime video that did well. So then I made a part 2 to that video, and a part 3, and a part 4. And by the time I got the part 7 or 8,
I'm messaging my editor right now I'm coming out with a video about Netflix's software architecture. And it's a good video going over kind of just high level their architecture. It would have to be a whole course basically to actually go into the details of their architecture. But I touch on it on a high level, getting some good B-roll, trying to make, you know, a nice entertaining piece of content. And what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have my editor also do a short form of that, because I really like the idea of having some shorts going along at the same time that we roll out that more long form video. It's about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna get that done in parallel. I really think that will work, and I assume they'll dig into that soon. Otherwise, I'm gonna fast forward to it.
They started getting a lot less views. So I was like, okay, let's talk about something else within anime. So let's talk about this. That doesn't do well. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, that did okay, but let's change it up a little bit, and then it does good, and then you build off of that. You just have to constantly be willing to learn from your mistakes, and you also have to be willing to learn when you're doing something right and separate the two so that you stop doing the bad things and that you keep doing the things that are working for you.
So like, at what point do you think someone has enough data to actually analyze a video and get genuine, statistically significant information?
The TikTok algorithm, I've learned, the YouTube Shorts algorithm, the Instagram Reels algorithm, they're very good at figuring out what videos are good and pushing them to the correct audience. Like I said, I started my Instagram Shorts account like 2 months ago, and it was an account with 0 followers. I didn't tell anybody about the account. It was a brand new account. I posted a TikTok that went semi-viral. I think it had 50,000 views, and I just got rid of the TikTok watermark, and I posted it on my Instagram Reels. And the very first video I posted on that brand new account I think it has 10,000 views on that video now. So once you start making good content, you will know, but you do have to go through making that bad content first until you figure out who's the audience that's going to be willing to watch the videos that you're making. If you're making videos that nobody
I'm just finding this to be actually engaging, so I'm going to continue to watch it.
wants to watch and you're consistently getting 3 views, it's
Hopefully
probably
they
because
do
there's only
touch
3
on
people that want to watch
posting
those
strategy,
videos.
but-
Typically, my rule of thumb is I give it like even more than I should sometimes, but 5 videos. If I do 5 videos in the topic, sometimes 3 to 5 is typically how many chances I'll give it, depending on if I like recording them. If I don't like making the videos, I'll typically give it 3 tries and I'm done. If I really like making these videos and I want it to work, I'll give it 5 tries, but I'm not going to post the first video, then post the second video and do the same exact thing that I did in the first video. I'm going to tweak what I did the first time and try and make the work the second time. And then I'm going to post it the third time and I'm going to tweak what didn't work the second time and see if I can get it to work if I really don't enjoy it. But even then, at some point, if you get to the 5th time, you tweaked it, nothing worked the first 5 times, there might just be no one that's interested in what you're talking about. And I think that's one of the harder things.
From like a scripting and editing perspective of these pieces of short form content, particularly for YouTube Shorts, do you have any tips or tricks that you've found get extreme amounts of results?
So if you can come up with a good series idea that does well, the way the algorithm works, that if you make a second part, it's going to get shown to the person that liked the first part. And if you make a third part, it's going to get shown to the people that like the second and first part. So
I've heard this before because, I mean, Mr. Beast says it's all about the click-through rate of the thumbnail and then getting people to watch more. So if you can create a series, it's going to do incredibly well if people continue to watch more videos. It's definitely something to consider.
So the longer you can kind of keep a series going without it dying out, I've seen that is going to get you some of the best results.
Now, later we might share some more ways to create some killer short form content, but I've got to ask now, how do we create shorts that actually result in views for our long form videos?
One of the strategies I've kind of had is making my short form content almost a promotional or like a commercial for the longer form content. So if you wanted to get someone to watch your long form content, I typically will post whatever I had for the long form content, whatever that idea was, I'll post it. And then I'll give it 2 or 3 days just to kind of do its own thing in the YouTube algorithm. And then I'll start putting out the promotional video to try and get people towards it. That kind of gives you just a taste of what the long form videos like. But if you want to get the full experience, you're going to have to go to YouTube and watch the full video. And so I found that a video can be not performing well at all. It can be at a 10 out of 10. It can be at a 9 out of 10. But once I post that promotional video for it, I've had videos go from having 10 views on my channels and being 10 out of 10s to I post the promotional video and I check it 2 days later and now it's at a 1 out of 10 and thousands of people have gone to watch it and it's got hundreds of comments on it. When I'm saying a promotional video, that is not a video with you like staring at your camera and be like, hey guys, go check out my newest YouTube video where I talk about how to make the best gun in Call of Duty. That is more than likely a video people will not want to watch. But if you did want to make a video and talking about like the best class or the best gun in Call of Duty, you would make a short form video that basically could stand alone as its own piece of content that doesn't feel like a promotion. So that's where you would want to make that video where you're like, I found the most broken class in all of Call of Duty. To make it, here's what you do. And then at that point, people will be interested in watching the video and be like, okay, like, let me see if this is a class that I've used, or like, what is this class? I want to test it. So you can kind of give people like the attachments, and you'll be like,
all right. So I think we got some good takeaways there. This is a good first shot at studying some of this stuff. You know, I definitely think trying out these shorts to go along with long form is going to be really good. The number one thing is just getting content out there. You know, the tool I'm using now for this is called StreamYard. Really excellent just for being able to grab more casual content, more long form content. Expect to see a lot more of that as I move forward. We're going to try to do more content like this, more content with my co-founder as well, talking about building /dev, talking about software, but also just fun stuff. I mean, this guy has a channel doing stuff about anime, stuff about games. I mean, I consume a lot of content about business and technology, but I also love to watch content just about gaming and, just what I would almost call like junk food content. But sometimes you just want to watch something to relax that's not so serious. Maybe it's not a deep dive on technology or, marketing strategies, but something more passive to watch. I think it's important to have stuff like that for your audience too. Awesome. So that's everything we got for today. Thanks for the time, and looking forward to doing more of these with you. So thanks. Cheers.